In this example, we've got cosec to the power 4 theta minus cot to the power 4 theta. So that's going to be cosec squared theta minus cot squared theta times cosec squared theta plus cot squared theta. So we can use an identity that cosec squared theta is 1 plus cot squared theta. So we get 1 plus cot squared theta minus cot squared theta times cosec squared theta plus cot squared theta. So we get 1 times cosec squared theta plus cot squared theta, which is cosec squared theta plus cot squared theta. So we can write that as 1 over sine squared theta plus cos squared theta over sine squared theta, which is 1 plus cos squared theta over sine squared theta. So we could write that as 1 plus cos squared theta. Now sine squared is the same as 1 minus cosine squared, which is the right hand side. Now in this next example, we're going to start from the right hand side. So sine squared theta times 1 plus sec squared theta. So if I multiply this out, I get sine squared theta plus sine squared theta sec squared theta. Now I could write that as sine squared theta plus sine squared theta over cos squared theta. So now what I'm going to do is to put this over 1 and times by cos squared. So I end up with sine squared cos squared plus sine squared over cos squared. So I can factorize the sine squared out to give me cos squared plus 1 over cos squared. Well, that's going to give me tan squared theta times cos squared theta plus 1, which is sine squared theta over cos squared theta times cos squared theta plus tan squared theta. Sine squared theta plus tan squared theta. Well, we could write this or change it to be 1 minus cos squared theta. That's the same thing as sec squared theta minus 1, and we get the result that they want. Sec squared theta minus cos squared theta, which is the left hand side. Here's a question for you to try. You can pause the video. When you're done, I will go through my work solution. Okay, welcome back. So starting from the left hand side, I've got sec to the power 4 theta minus tan to the power 4 theta. So difference of two squares, sec squared theta minus tan squared theta times sec squared theta plus tan squared theta. Now I notice sec squared theta plus tan squared theta is what I need to prove. So I need to make the first bracket to be 1. Well, I can do that by saying sec squared theta minus, or tan squared theta is the same as sec squared theta minus 1 times by this thing. And then what we get is sec squared theta minus sec squared theta plus 1 times sec squared theta plus tan squared theta. And that gives me the following. Which is the right hand side.